Rich Tehrani with TMC here. Thanks for watching. We're at Interop 2013. I'm speaking with Matthew from Aerohive Networks. Matthew, how are you?
I am doing well in fabulous Las Vegas.
Great. So I was really excited to hear that you're publishing a book in the wireless field. You want to tell us the title?
Sure. It's 802.11ac, a survival guide. It's a new book about the upcoming gigabit Wi-Fi standard to be published by O'Reilly Media this summer.
Okay, survival guide. So tell us a little bit about that. Why a survival guide?
Well, you could call something the definitive guide, as I did my first book, but the trouble is people really expect to know absolutely everything. And there's a lot of magic that goes into radio technology. So it's a survival guide because it tells you what you need to know as a network administrator. It helps you figure out how to use 11AC and what you need to do to get your network ready. But it doesn't need to, to do that, you really don't need to get a PhD in radio engineering to understand how the bits go out in the air.
So that's not your day job, that's like your night and weekend job, I imagine. You've got another job at Aerohive Networks, right?
Exactly. I'm Director of Product Management for software, which means that I lead development of our distributed network system and all of the technologies that go into that make your experience with Wi-Fi a seamless experience where you just get on the network, you have a set of rights and privileges that goes along with that, and it follows you around as you move.
So how are you seeing this BYOD trend affecting your business there?
Well, BYOD is a trend that's crushing absolutely everybody, and it's a manifestation of the fact that Wi-Fi is really the way that people connect to networks. One of my favorite things to do when I speak at events at universities is to ask people, how many of your students these days know what an Ethernet port looks like? And you may get a few hands that go up, but it's not like when I went to college, because I'm so old, when it was necessary to make sure that there was an Ethernet port in every dorm room. Now that Wi-Fi is the way everybody connects, people are, they're bringing devices and they want to use them. So, whereas it used to be, I'm going to connect my laptop, now it's, I'm going to connect my phone, and my laptop, and my tablet, and whatever Apple comes out with next year. That drive for density means that it affects everything we do in Wi-Fi. We have to build networks that support many more devices with many varied applications, because some of these things will be application specific. How do I balance voice versus video versus data?
That's great. So in terms of the company beyond BYOD, what other sorts of things are happening there that we should know about?
Well, as I said, there's a lot that goes into this idea of density. And as more devices come onto networks, it gets harder to build networks. You have to make the network respond to this automatically, and you need to make the network aware of what people are doing. So that's not just who they are, it's also what they're allowed to do and what their role might be. So it's a big trend is also looking at applications that ride on networks. So if you bring in your own device, you might not get the same level of privileges that you have with other devices. So a corporate issued device is allowed to do more, whether that's more bandwidth or more applications or allowed to access internal servers.
Excellent, thanks so much for your time.
You're very welcome.